So let's say you just learned your first scale and it was a C major scale, which a lot of people do learn that right away, along with that, or maybe a minor pentatonic scale. So in this case, today I'm going to work with the C major scale, and you know, a lot of people learn the C scale maybe in an open position, right? And then you can learn it up the neck too, right? So let's say you've learned it here at the 5th fret of the G string. So we have just same scale as I played here in open position, so the notes in a different place on the neck. So the notes in C are just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So just going right up the scale from C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Alright, so now when we go to improvise with this scale, this is where it breaks down for most people. And I mean, there's many reasons why. The main thing here is that you need to start to understand how to use the scale musically. So we just don't want to be running it up and down the neck, because that really is not, that's not musical at all. That's what we don't want to do once you've learned it, right? So you want to start making music with it. And even if it's just simple little things, you know. Right? So, I mean, there's a reason why use your ear, that sounds good, and understand scale degrees, and the chords, the notes and chords, start to play a big role in becoming a better improviser and using these scales musically. So when I look at this scale, you know, I know that in the key of C, that we have C major is the 1 chord. So I know the notes that make up that chord, and I see them on the fretboard here. So C, E, G, and C. And those notes are right out of that scale. The notes are right out of that scale. So C, E, G, C. So those are good, strong tones to hit if you're improvising and a C chord is being played. The chord tones will always sound good. So then what that leaves you with is the other tones of the scale. So these are the chord tones. So then the D would be the 9, right? The F would be the 4. The A would be the 6. And the B would be the 7. Because the chord tones are the root, the 3, the 5, and then the 1 again. That's the octave. So root, 3, 5, 1. So if the C chord is being played, then I can use the C, the E, the G, or the C to be improvising over it. And I'm going to do this here in a second to show you. So again, I'm basing this all off of this major scale, starting at the 5th fret of the G string, C, C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Alright, so we just learned that the C, the E, and the G are the notes that make up a C chord. And why that's good to know is because you can target these tones when you're improvising. And we understand that the other tones of the scale would become passing tones, coloration tones, right? You're using these tones to get to the other chord tones. So if we, for instance here, from C, well, D is not a chord tone, but the next note in the scale, E, that is the 3rd of the C major chord. So what that means is that the D wants to lead either to the 3rd of the chord, like this, C, D, E, or it wants to lead back down to the 1. So, you know, I mean, that's pretty simple right there. But if you're just learning this, I mean, that's a powerful thing right there to start to understand, you know, like, oh yeah, this note is leading, and that's why that sounds good, because that's a chord tone. And then back down. Again, these are the 2 chord tones. Then if you keep moving on, the F here, that wants to lead up to the 5, or to the 3, back down to the 3. Alright, or up to the 5. So again, so I just see these chord tones over the C. It's just literally the notes of the chord. And then I see the other 2 so far on these 2 strings, the D and the F, as passing tones, or coloration too, to get to another chord tone. You see, I noticed how like I got a little delay on, that's why I was messing with the volume, because it was coming through pretty good. But and then I'm vibratoing. See how this, and I'm not, right? I'm picking very, it's touch. You know, you can hear how I'm trying. I don't want any noise. Yeah, I could do so I could pick this B string and then cover the G string with the pick and the high E string with the middle finger. So that way I ensure it, I'm not going to get anything else ringing out. Alright, so I can pick and then do that here, right? Alright, so let's just move on here now to the, so we just talked about 3, 4 to 5. Now 6 and 7 here, the A and the B. Now these want to go, the 6 wants to go to the 5, and the 7 wants to go to 1, or you could do 7, 6, 5, or 6, 7, 1. Right? And this is just good for your ears too. This is ear training. You know, you've got to listen to this stuff and how does it feel? You know, I'm implying a C chord right now. Now if I come up here and play an F note, which is in the C scale, and I hang on this, hopefully your ears are telling you that like it becomes tense, right? You guys probably want me to move off this right now. So I have 2 options. Well, I have more than 2. I could go down or up to the 5th. And as you get better at this, you'll make very quick decisions, and it's without really realizing it probably at times. Like I'm going to recognize if I'm on the C chord and I'm on that F too long, I'm just going to move down or go up. A lot of times the key you're in, the tones of the one chord, so in this case C, E and G, will tend to always sound pretty good no matter when you play them, for the most part. But what we're really getting into here is following the chords and, you know, seeing the chord tones of each chord. And today what I'm doing here is playing over a C chord and an F chord, or the F major 7. And it's going to be a Quist, what is it, C major scale, Ionian mode. It's just going to be C to F major 7, right? So when I go to solo over this or improvise, I'll be thinking of those chord tones for C, and then the other notes is the coloration tones or passing tones. Then we have the F major 7, so now we need to see those chord tones amongst the same scale. So we're still in C, even though we're going to F. It's the 4 chord of C major. And we have F, A, C, but this is F major 7, so it'd be F, A, C, E. Well, C, there's a C, right? D is not. E is the major 7, so that's already the same 2 chord tones from the C major chord. So some notes share notes, or some chords share notes. So again, we can still do that. And then F is the root of F. G is not. A is the 3rd, that's a chord tone. B is not, but C is. C is the 5th. So we have common tones here from the C chord into the F chord. Alright, so, I haven't talked about really phrasing or rhythm yet. So we'll get into a little bit of that here. But for now, I'm just going to get you to think about hitting chord tones. So I'm going to play this track here. I'm going to try to keep it really simple at first. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so so there's the F, so let's hear the changes first. So C, maybe C, that might be C major 7. To F major 7, right? These are F major 7. So let's count it now, so we know. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So each chord is worth 2 bars, okay? Targeting the chord tones. There's the 3rd of F, targeted the A. Yeah, now you ever stand that F, how it just doesn't sound good? But now it's good because it's the root of the F chord. So C. Alright. I'm just targeting chord tones. And I'm using my ear. And, it's a lot of practice. You got to get your fingers to be able to move, and you got to do exercises. But, just keep practicing and use your ears and listen, and you will get to do the stuff that you want to do, all in due time. All right, thanks so much.